I would think so, by using vacuum tube oscillators.
That would do away with high tension wires ultimately?
Yeah.
The Jacobs ladder effect is demonstrated just for fun. And other effects are duplicated in Hutchison's basement lab. But it was his love of old equipment that led to advanced experimentation.
This is an old dynamotor, turn of the century. And I got it from a scrap dealer. And it appears to be the same kind of motor that Tesla used in some of the experiments.
Hutchison's equipment combines recycled electronics in huge hand-built coils that together defy some established laws of physics.
That's a Tesla coil. In regards to Tesla, it would be probably a very small one. It can fit out about 1.5 million volts.
Did you build it?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to wind something like that?
It took me about a week to do the whole coil. The winding itself, I guess, about a day and a half.
Hutchison cranks up power of up to 500,000 volts, but the source is just one wall outlet. If he has developed a new source of energy, it uses very little power. He sets up metal and plastic objects in the area he feels things will move, but unexpected articles begin to fly. A sponge beyond the set takes off. Hutchison can't see it from his control panel and relies on our information.
It's very important that can you tell me how long it stayed up on the ceiling?
I would say a full second, 1 second, like that. It went up and hit the ceiling 1 second, maybe 2 seconds, and then came down.
You're kidding.
No. And it slowly and deliberately went up, almost like a levitation. Do you know why this effect is caused?
I really don't. I have some ideas in my mind that being electromagnetic in nature somehow is interfering with the gravitational pull of the Earth.
Shall we try it again?
I'd like to give her another shot.
Sure. Well, good.
So I'll fire her up again. I hope we're lucky.
Watch the tinfoil here.
Hang in there.
The tinfoil just jumped. Just went up and flickered a bit and then dropped down.
Flickered?
Yeah, it just shook.
Hot dog. Okay, I'll keep.
Nothing else was touching. I was watching.
Okay, I'll keep operating, and maybe we'll get some metal breaking up.
He has indeed broken metal into fragments and lifted an entire snowplow. He just can't predict what will move. Hutchison doesn't know if it's the equipment alone or his effect on the equipment, but Canadian researchers are now discussing the Hutchison effect with physicists around the world, and it may lead to developments not even thought of yet.
Grant Fredericks visited the lab this afternoon and has some interesting observations.
When one walks off East Hastings Street in Burnaby into John Hutchison's world, one leaves behind the conventions of the 20th century and enters a scene more in common with something out of a Jules Verne play.
Good evening. News with electricity. Time machines, and his latest invention has a lot of people interested.
It looks like something out of a Frankenstein movie, but this is John Hutchison's latest project. Hutchison is a modern-day inventor. He lives in Vancouver and supports his hobby of tinkering with old electrical equipment with money he gets from the Ministry of Human Resources. Hutchison suffers from agoraphobia, a fear of open spaces. That's kept him from holding a job and makes him eligible for social assistance. With lots of free time and very little money, his 20-year hobby has become a passion that's earned him a reputation.
Well, I know I'm a bit of an oddball, and I don't mind. I'm a bit eccentric and a little spinny, but I love it. But the scientists took me serious. I've had some contacts with UBC, and they thought it was a little off the wall.
This maze of electrical devices is Hutchison's most promising invention. No one knows exactly how it works, but it apparently creates an electromagnetic field capable of moving objects from a distance.
Basically, it's a device that projects energy at a distance and affects test samples. It either bends them or breaks them up or lifts them up in the air or makes them go sideways.
Hutchison says he can't give a demonstration of this phenomenon right now. It would take a week to hook everything up, but his access to this room is limited. The equipment is being stored here only temporarily, and he may have to move it soon. Still, this amateur film shows what Hutchison claims his invention does. The objects you see are resting on a plastic milk carton close to his device. He says they rise in the air after he hits the switch, and sometimes metal objects simply bend or even break.
You're looking at something which you know shouldn't be happening.
Vancouver businessman Alexis Pizarro has seen Hutchison's project in action. In 1981, a company he helped form signed a deal with Hutchison. The company would promote Hutchison's discovery and work to develop it further.
I immediately realized that this had tremendous significance. Whether it's in space, it has military implications, and its understanding could possibly open up a whole new energy source.
Pizarro's company, Ferris Technologies, did spark a lot of interest in Hutchison's discovery. In 1983, a United States Army team investigated the invention after putting up $25,000 in funding. But after the investigation, the funding ended. In 1986, Canada's Scientific and Technical Intelligence Branch examined Hutchison's creation. A letter written on the visit by the branch director concluded, "We do not foresee any further consideration of support, as the phenomenon appears to be intermittent and unpredictable." In each of the above cases, the parties have been attracted by the features of Hutchison's invention, namely that it can move objects around from a distance and has been seen to bend and fracture pieces of metal. But in each case, a big catch has put the interest in check. That catch is that the effects cannot be reproduced consistently. They only happen occasionally and by chance.
At this point in time, it can't be really of any practical use until it's worked on, cultivated into a continuous effect. And indeed, I got that information from the Canadian Defense Department.
With no sustained interest in the project, Hutchison and Ferris Technologies had some disagreements and have parted ways. Hutchison now does his own promotion. He says the latest interest comes from a group of American scientists who have indicated they may set him up in Washington State or California. But Hutchison's not holding his breath. He says before he sees money and backing, any interest is just talk. And until then, his invention will remain a maze of apparently great potential. Cal Barton, CBC News, Vancouver.
A 66-year-old man is facing drug charges after police uncovered an apparent magic mushroom farm.
Energy inventors finding strange new ways to power the planet.